Good morning. It is Saturday, July 15th, day 122 on the Appalachian Trail. I'm just getting ready to head out. It's a little after 9 o'clock. Typical start to a day. Everybody else has already left. Camped at the Kirkridge shelter last night. Last day in Pennsylvania. Got about 7 miles to go and I will be done with Pennsylvania. Woohoo. Boy, this has been an experience. Speaking of experiences, I wanted to quick share kind of what happened yesterday. Before I forget it, it was quite a day. We were at the Leroy Smith shelter, the same group that was with me at Squeak's house. We left at different times, but during the course of the evening conversation the night before, there were the folks that everybody talked about going to McDonald's at Wind Gap. Just sort of hitchhiking into town and having a McDonald's. It sounded like a good idea at the time. I decided not to do it. I don't know. I think Casper maybe skipped it as well, but the others went into town and had a McDonald's. When I came across the road there at Wind Gap, I noticed the trailer court that Squeak had talked about, and there's a guy there that has a hose and willing to let hikers fill up their water. I couldn't see the hose, texted Squeak, didn't get a response. So I just walked over to the trailer court, knocked on a random door, no answer. Started walking away to find another trailer house to knock on the door, and there were two ladies that were just walking in the area there, and I just asked them if I could impose on them to top off my water bottles, and they did. The one lady, we went to her trailer house, which is like three houses away, and she emptied the bottles, filled them up with fresh, cold water from the fridge. It was awesome. Thank you, Trail Angels, for that. And then the climb out of Wind Gap was steep, rocky, typical. That took a lot. And then the trail again, super rocky most of the time. And by the time I got toward the end of the day, and I was just trudging. I haven't had a zero since July 4th. My body was feeling it. I was physically exhausted. I was mentally exhausted from having to watch every rock to step on and where to put your feet. It was exhausting. And so there was only one possible place for water along that 13-mile stretch. It's called a pooling spring. And I texted Ripper and asked him if they got to the shelter. It was like 3 miles away from the shelter. I asked Ripper to check on the notes on Far Out for the shelter having a spigot, a water spigot up there. And he said he'd do that and let me know. Well, I got down to the pooling spring and there was no signal, so I couldn't check my text messages from Ripper. So I went to the pooling spring anyway. It wasn't very far, 250 yards, or 250 feet actually. It was really close. On a Blue Blaze trail that also said Wolf Rock Bypass rejoins the AT in 1 mile. I thought, well, that's interesting, but I wanted to stay with the White Blazes on my trek. And so I went down to the pooling spring. Super nice spring. I didn't take my camera with me, unfortunately. I had taken a picture of it, but nice clear water, big pool, spring. I just dipped it right out of the pool, right there where it came up. You could see the water bubbling up from the spring in the one pool. And then I started walking back on a Blue Blaze and kept going and discovered that I finally figured out that I'd picked the wrong Blue Blaze trail, and I was actually walking the bypass trail. So I backtracked. I probably went 1/4 mile and then backtracked and found the correct one, and then got back to my pack where I dropped my pack back on the AT, and I wondered what the Wolf Rocks were. There'd been a mention of them in Far Out as being the hardest section of rocks so far in Pennsylvania. I thought, well, Knife's Edge was pretty nasty. How could this be any worse? I found the Wolf Rocks. Yeah, they were. It was not fun. and there was thunder in the distance. It was starting to cloud over, this threatening storm. Thunder was getting closer. I managed to get through. Well, so I'd cameled up at the spring. I filled up my CNOC bag with 2 extra liters of water and filled my other 2 bottles. And so I was totally full with water. I fell over backwards a couple of times, or fell backwards anyway, onto the rocks as I was climbing. Sort of a different sense of center of gravity when you're adding, 4.5 pounds of weight to your pack. And the rocks were not easy to navigate. But I made it through just in time. We got down to a section of the trail where it was nice and smooth and going downhill. No rocks at all. It was like a state park path almost. And no more than 2 minutes after I got to that path, the skies opened up and just downpoured, just dumped out of the sky. Put my umbrella out and just started walking. Just kept walking. It rained and thundered and lightning. Lightning was pretty close, actually, and thunder, but what could you do? Just keep hiking. There's no place to go. And so, umbrella up, I got shoes drenched, pants were wet, shirt sleeves were wet, everything was wet, basically, except my head and my shoulders. Kept walking. The rain lasted, that heavy rain lasted about a half an hour, from about 6:30 until 7 o'clock. And then it sort of let up, put my umbrella away for a little bit, tucked it in the belt of my fanny pack. Kept walking, and then about 7:30 it started raining again, just as I was starting to go up the hill toward the shelter. And it rained all the way up the hill to the shelter, and sitting inside the shelter, not having put any of their other tents up or anything, were Sonny and Snickers and Ripper and Jess. They were just kind of waiting it out. They'd already eaten, so I dropped my pack, ate my supper, had some chili, freeze-dried chili that I'd gotten from Homemade before he left to go back to Oklahoma. It hit the spot. It was great. Then when we were all done, we went up to the kind of the tree area. They debated about whether it's camping in a meadow or the tree area, and this is the tree area that I'm in right now. It's really, really very nice for camping. So they had tents set up, and I had my hammock strung between a couple of trees here in front of me. And it let up raining just enough for us to get our stuff up. And then probably about 10 o'clock, it just downpoured again, super loud, lasted till about 1 o'clock in the morning, according to Sonny. I think I fell asleep during that time, but heavy rain last night. But it was just interesting. I was so lucky to get off of Wolf Rocks before it started raining. That would have been one treacherous climb had I not gotten through that in time. And I was delayed a little bit by taking the wrong Blue Blaze, but it all works out. It all works out. I've booked a hotel for tonight and tomorrow night. I'm at a Zero in East Stroudsburg, and then my bus to Massachusetts leaves on Monday morning, so I'll have to find a ride to the bus station early in the morning to do that. But this particular hotel that I'm at has laundry facilities, which I was looking for. The hostel that was run by the church, down there in Delaware Water Gap, all they've got is a shower and some bunks and tent space, that sort of a thing. It's a donation-based hostel. I need more than just a shower and a bunk. I need a Zero. I need to rest and recuperate. This other place has a swimming pool, I think, as well. We'll find out when I get there. But 7 miles into town today, and then I don't think I can check in until 4 o'clock, but that gives me plenty of time to get down the trail and maybe have a bite to eat at one of the local establishments and then move on. So, looking forward to a Zero day on Sunday, tomorrow. That'll be nice. Haven't had one for a long time. It'll be 11 days, I think, July 4th, plus what's today, the 15th, so that's 11. It'll be 12 days since my last Zero, which is too long. I need it. My body's telling me, screaming at me to take a Zero. All right, that's it for now. We're going to get moving before it gets any later. It's nice and cool, a little bit overcast. Slight breeze, not much, but the leaves are moving a little bit, so it should be pretty nice hiking. Time to get going. Stay green and keep growing, everyone. See you later. It's super noisy. We're at the Delaware River, but I am crossing the line into New Jersey. I have finished Pennsylvania. Woo!